She came back, and part of the responsibilities, I understand, was to hold her own job summit here locally in Fresno about jobs. And she did a great job of that, gathered some folks. I was lucky enough to be invited. And my point here is that then she and her staff put together a letter back to the president and his administration with some ideas about how we can move forward with creating jobs. And I want to thank you for that, because two of those items, one of which is the standard SBA lending program. The concept there is to get banks off the sidelines and back into lending money through the SBA program, which is already out there. It makes a lot of sense for not only creating jobs, keeping businesses open, but also it's good for the taxpayer because it's a guarantee. So there isn't necessarily funds put out there right away. And so that is a real strong piece that the government, or excuse me, that the mayor had put out there. So I want to thank you very much for that support, because it did work. So thank you. Okay, let me get on with introducing Meg. I just had a chance to meet Meg. We actually were neighbors in the Bay Area there for a while she was in eBay. But I'd like to introduce our speaker, Meg Whitman. She is a respected business leader who led eBay from 1998 to 2008 and helped the company grow from 30 employees to a little over $4 million in revenue to 15,000 employees and $8 billion in revenue. Quite an accomplishment. She has been ranked among the world's most influential people by Time Magazine. And Wall Street Journal named her one of the 50 women to watch in 2005, and I would say probably in 2010 as well. Beyond her business background, Meg has also ventured into the political realm, serving as the National Finance Co-Chair for Governor Mitt Romney's presidential campaign and raising over $12 million in California for that effort. After Romney ended his campaign, Meg served as the national co-chair for the McCain-Palin campaign, where she helped to raise almost $8 million for the California Republican Party. Meg announced her own intentions to run for office in February 2009. As a candidate for governor, Meg says she is committed to rebuilding the state's economy, amen to that, and creating jobs, another amen, and reforming the budget process, and being a champion and championing public education, which is also a huge issue. So if you would, please help me give a warm welcome to Meg Whitman.
So, thank you very much. Thanks for that very nice introduction. Gosh, I appreciate it. And I'm thrilled to be back in the Central Valley. You know, there's a little joke on my campaign that says, if we want to make Meg happy, let her go to the Central Valley. And I actually think I've been to the Central Valley over 30 times in the last 16 months. I've been to Fresno 11 times, Visalia once, and Tulare 2 times. So, delighted to be here, and thanks for coming today. As you may have seen, I think I'll just jump right into some of the issues that I know you care about. As you may have seen in the Fresno Bee this morning, I wrote a column explaining why I'm supporting the water bond headed for the November ballot. And while that bond is not perfect, I think it is a needed start to solving the water crisis. And I think in many ways, sometimes perfection can be the enemy of progress. And this is not a perfect bill. But my view is we have got to do something here, and forward progress is incredibly important. And I made a commitment to helping to find a solution to our water crisis. And my support of the bond on the November ballot, I think, really underscores my commitment to getting this done. There's no question that we have got to work together to revitalize the Central Valley. The Central Valley is essential not only to California, but to the United States. I just saw a few weeks ago, which I'm sure all of you know, but I don't think I understood this as clearly as I do now. 9 out of the top 10 counties for agriculture in the entire United States are right here in the Central Valley. Fresno is the #1 agricultural county in the United States. So we have a huge set of challenges. You know, the water supply system was built for a population half our size. Over-regulation is strangling small businesses here, and our farming communities are in despair. And interestingly, you know, after first wavering, my opponent in this race is actually now opposing the water bond. And I think what he'd rather do is throw out the plan and ignore the crisis. And even as Central Valley farmers are forced to rip out crops and communities wither with 40% unemployment, I think we just have to move forward. And we've got to have people who will stand up and promote honest solutions. And you know, my bias is for common sense action. Sitting on the sidelines, in my view, is not going to be enough here. And that's why I decided to come out so forcefully in favor of the water bond. Again, it is not perfect, but perfect is the enemy of progress. So with that, I thought what I'd do is tell you a little bit about why I'm running for governor. Everyone asks me almost every day, why does anyone want this job? In fact, you asked me as I was sitting here at lunch. And it's really very simple for me. eBay was born in California. My husband was trained to be a doctor at UCSF. My 2 boys were born here. We first came to California in 1981. And what happens to California matters to the United States of America. And I just refuse to believe that California cannot be better than it is. I refuse to let California fail. And so we have got to band together and we have got to change the trajectory in California. What we have been doing is clearly not working. You know, we face a remarkable set of challenges here. You all know we have the 3rd or 4th highest unemployment rate in the country. We talked about the infrastructure that was built for a population half our size. It's not just the water infrastructure. It's roads, it's ports, it's everything. We have a K-12 education system that used to be at the top of the heap in terms of the quality of the education system in 50 states in the 1950s. Now we're at the bottom of the heap. And it is not going to be sustainable to deny the vast majority of California children a chance at the California dream. And then last but not least, the state is effectively bankrupt. Once again, we are facing a $20 billion 18-month deficit on the budget. So, I want to take a different approach. I am not a politician. I'm a businesswoman. I've been in business 30 years. I've had the opportunity to work for some of the great American companies, like the Walt Disney Company, like Hasbro, where I actually ran the preschool division. I ran brands that you would know, like Barney, Arthur, Teletubby, my personal favorite, Mr. Potato Head. But I also had a chance to lead eBay. And as you know, eBay was one of those remarkable success stories, and had a chance to see a number of things at work. I saw the power of small business every single day at eBay. eBay started as a small business. When I joined the company, it was $4.7 million in revenue, which we grew to $8 billion. But the fact that many of you may not know is today, over 1 million people make most, if not all, of their living selling on eBay. And last year, those eBay sellers sold almost $65 billion worth of product, all virtually, all over the internet. And so what I saw every day was the power of small business and the courage that it takes to create small businesses. So here's the approach that I want to take to try to turn California around. And it's a different approach. I am a big believer in focus. Could we please focus on doing 3 things at 100% as opposed to trying to do 10 or 15 things at 50%? Because I think in business and in life, the devil is in the detail. I also think if you go to Sacramento with too broad an agenda, you will be stymied at every turn by the incumbent interest, by the special interest, by the bureaucracy, and by the legislature. So let's focus on 3 things and do them at 100%. And here's the 3 things that I want to focus on. First and foremost is we have got to create more jobs in California, and we have to keep jobs in California. We are bleeding jobs to neighboring states, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, Texas. I saw this as the CEO of eBay. I used to get calls about once a month from one of those governors in neighboring states. How about a development center in Arizona, a call center in Utah? And you know what? They came with very attractive economic packages. So we have got to have California once again be the very best place to create jobs, and we cannot afford to lose another job to a neighboring state. And I'll come back to how I want to attack that in a minute. But first is jobs. The second is government spending. We have got to get government spending under control. I have spent a lot of time on the budget of the state of California, and trust me when I tell you, we do not have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem of epic proportions. This is the farthest thing you can imagine from smart, efficient, small government. And I think there are, we've been led to believe there's only two choices today, that we either raise taxes or cut services. There actually is a third way. Let's spend the money we have far more efficiently and effectively, and then think about how we want to invest those dollars that we save. And I'll talk more about